It has been 451 days since Danny Duffy last pitched in a Major League game. Tonight, he begins his return from Tommy John surgery, with Royals fans hoping to see Duffy's high-octane heat and knee-buckling breaking ball. The Royals go for the series victory over the Twins next. The fans coming into the K for the final game of this three-game series between the Minnesota Twins and the Kansas City Royals. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physiak. Danny Duffy has long been considered one of the Royals' top pitching prospects, but 14 months ago, he needed ligament replacement surgery in his left arm, and they had to sideline one of our top pitchers. Tonight, he will make his season debut. Last year, he only pitched 5 weeks, had 2 wins, 2 losses, a 3.9 ERA, but in the minor leagues, his stuff was electric. In only 368 innings, he enjoyed 484 strikeouts. And joining me tonight, of course, is Rex Hudler. Rex, first question, what does Danny Duffy have to do to win tonight?
Well, Danny Duffy is going to be excited. There's no question about it. He's got a lot of intensity and a lot of emotion. He's going to have to calm down and throw strike one. Get that ball over the plate. He's got tremendous stuff. But he's also got to get early count out so he can stay in the game long. Now Ned's going to give him 90 to 100 pitches, and that's a beautiful sample size. However, he does throw a lot of pitches, so maybe he can get through 5, but his stuff is off the charts. He's got a strong fastball, big curveball, and a big heart. It's going to be the hardest thing for him to do, control the emotions.
Duffy's job, get the lead to the Royals' excellent bullpen, and Greg Holland to close it out. When we come back, Joel Goldberg will talk more with Duffy and his catcher, Brett Hayes.
Year to be back in the big leagues, bumping fists with his Royals teammates and set to make his 2013 Royals debut. And welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Joel Goldberg right by the home bullpen, and a lot of fans were just gathered around to see Duffy throwing his warm-up pitches, and he was throwing those pitches and will be caught tonight by the guy that's been catching him lately in AAA, because Brett Hayes up with Salvador Perez on the 7-day concussion list. And Brett Hayes telling us that, you know, if you look at the numbers early on this year for Duffy when he first came up to AAA, yeah, they weren't great because he was still rehabbing. He wasn't comfortable yet. But lately he has been dominant. The biggest key for tonight for Duffy is just staying within himself, not getting too amped up, which he could do. He said, that's on Danny, but he said, it's my job to nip that in the bud as soon as we see it happening. And if he can stay calm, he can go out there and just pitch and not be angry out there when he gets mad at himself every now and then. Brett Hayes expecting a good night from Danny. Danny has 9 family members, 11 friends here, just saw his dad. They are ready to go, and so are we. Baseball's coming up next on Fox Sports Kansas City.
Play the Powerball and Mega Million Scratchers game to win $100,000 or more. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealer, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. This game is brought to you in high definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. That is Dan Duffy getting ready to chart the game. He has it on his iPad. He's making sure his son is throwing strikes even when he is just warming up. Well, there was a time Ron Gardenhire's Twins controlled the Royals. 2013 is not one of those years, as KC has won 11 of the 15 games this year. Dozier's been tough in this series. Carroll, Morneau, Colabello, Doman, Plouffe, Arcia, Thomas, Florimon. One guy absent, Joe Mauer. And there is 24-year-old Danny Duffy making his first Major League start rec since May 13th, 2012.
Yep. You know, he'll be pumped. You know, and a lot of guys are pumped anyway if they're taking that slab every 5 days in the big leagues. Your adrenaline's already rushing. But when you haven't towed the slab in over a year, you're really pumped. He's drawing a nice message in the back of that mound right now. And if he can control his emotions and throw strike one and get ahead of hitters and finish them off, he'd be thrilled if he could get 5 innings in. So
and there is Mom Deanna. Danny Duffy will throw to a major toothache, and we're talking Brian Dozier. First game, he forced Jeremy Guthrie to throw 11 pitches in his first at bat. Yesterday, he forced James Shields into a 3-2 count and then hit a home run in the first inning. Okay, now he has a 2-0 count.
Everything is hard. Okay, he's got 2-seam, 4-seam fastballs, and they're both really hard pitches. He's going to go mid to upper 90s. Big curveball he's got, and a changeup.
Dozier takes his strike. A fastball at 96 miles an hour. When we last saw Danny Duffy, he was throwing 95 to 99 miles an hour, and his fastball velocity is back after the Tommy John surgery in June of 2012. It explodes on you, and that one did at 97 miles an hour. He's back in the count with Dozier at 2-2.
No, I mean, to have a guy with this type of talent down in the minors, and they always knew they had him down there, and they had an idea that this time of year he'd be coming back, and it's great that he didn't have any major setbacks along the way.
Little bit low. Duffy is taking Wade Davis's spot in the rotation with Wade on bereavement leave. And that's what Dozier's been doing, Rex. He has done a great job of fouling off tough pitches.
Yeah, he's milking pitch counts. He has in each and every first at bat of the game. First, second, now this third game of this series. He set the tone. A home run yesterday off James Shields set him back.
Danny working with the catcher who caught him down at Omaha, Brett Hayes. This is just like the first two games with Dozier. He will see at least 8 pitches from Duffy in inning number 1. And this guy has really been playing good ball. 2 for 12 after a 10-game hit streak where he was unconscious swinging the bat. Has 21 doubles this year, and 14 came in the month of July. Hit well left center field. And Dozier has done it again. And he's not stopping at second. A leadoff triple for Brian Dozier.
Oh, and he hit it just hard enough. I mean, he didn't hit a line shot out there. He hit it hard to where it just took its time and rolled to the fence. That gave him plenty of time to get to third base. He kind of hit it off the end of the bat, but it was well placed. And he knew a strike was coming. So credit this young man right here for his tremendous first at-bats to set the tone for the Twins.
Now a tough guy to strike out in Jamie Carroll. Royals playing their infield back. They will give up a run to get an out. Carroll, the veteran, 39 years of age, out of Evansville, in his 10th year in the big leagues. You saw him pitch a shutout 8th inning in the opener when the Royals won 13-0. Jeremy Guthrie with a complete game shutout. Way back of the screen, and Hayes will not have a play. It's 1-0 Minnesota.
Well, the first curveball didn't work too well. Oops. Now, it's a good play by Brett Hayes back there. I mean, he went back to the screen even though that hit the netting. Usually balls don't hit that high up on the wall, but he got it to Duffy, and it was a nice attempt to get Dozier.
To right field, David Lowe will take care of Jamie Carroll, and Danny Duffy gets his first out.
Yeah, the Royals defense has been eye-popping. Only 7 errors in the last 26 games going back to July 7th. It's been fantastic to watch him play. However, Brett Hayes, he's making his Royals debut catching Duffy as they were battery mates in AAA.
Danny was 3-0 at Omaha with a 4.21 ERA. And as Brett Hayes told us, he got better and better every single start. His last 6 games, he gave up 1 or fewer runs in 5 of those 6. And Brett said one of his keys will be to keep Danny calm. Justin Morneau has 1 hit in this series, but it was a big one, a home run in yesterday's 7-0 victory. The Twins hit 3 home runs, as James Shields gave up the most runs he has given up in 2 years. 7 runs in 6 innings.
Yep, he said that he could tell in that first inning he was off, but typically when he struggled in the first inning, he's always settled down in his other starts, but he just couldn't regain that command.
Morneau belts this one a long way, but foul. Justin came in hitting .265 with 11 home runs, 59 runs driven in. Final year of his contract. Well, Danny gets his first strikeout of the year on an explosive fastball that ripped by the lefty swinging Morneau.
Yep, Duffy has a little bit of a hesitation, pause in his delivery, and then here it comes. I mean, it's hard and it is straight with a 4-seam. 2-seam moves a little bit, but when you throw that hard, you're not able to get the 2 break to it. Yeah, nice clean delivery right over the top. Good land. Body was going directly forward and right to Brett Hayes' glove.
The Twins hit 3 home runs last night, one by this guy, Chris Colabello. And he hit it a long way to the opposite field, 407 feet. Third in the big leagues, a former star in independent baseball in Worcester, Massachusetts. Danny said that he feels stronger than he's ever felt. You might have seen that interview he did with Joel Goldberg before the game. He said it's the first time since he was 17 years old that he could say, "I'm not sore."
When you're watching, Indiana, she knows her son very well. When he tries to overthrow, it's hard for him to keep his command. And it's just going to take him some innings. He needs 1 full season in the major leagues to get to feel the league, get a sense of the hitters, and then they can probably make a better judgment.
So Colabello will work the walk. Hayes goes out for a visit with Danny Duffy. And Bruce Chen also told Nate Bukaty before the game that the feel for your secondary pitches are usually the last thing you command. And that means his breaking ball, his changeup. But Brett said really he hasn't needed the changeup because his curve has been so good.
Yep. And he really hasn't incorporated a slider yet either because of the depth of that breaking ball and how hard he throws. I mean, he's going to challenge hitters. Majority of his pitches will be fastballs.
Strike 1 to Ryan Domit. Domit, good power, but all 9 of his home runs came before the All-Star break. Close play. The Royals came in at 57-53, 8.5 games back of red-hot Detroit. They have won 10 straight games, and tonight in Cleveland, it's Doug Fister against Danny Salazar.
Okay, there's the curveball. That's a field pitch. Sometimes when you overthrow that curve, it stays flat. He wants to be able to take a little bit off so he can get the full arc to it.
He's thrown 22 pitches in this first inning. Domit on that fastball with Duffy going with the slide step. Twins at 49 and 61, 16.5 games out, but they have won 3 of their last 4.
See, when you throw that hard and hitters are geared up on fastballs, he's going to throw a lot of pitches because they're fouling them off. You just miss it. When it's mid-90s to above and you know it's coming and you can't square it up, that's going to be a missed pitch and you have to reload.
Ned Yost said he would let him go 90 to 100. Ground ball base hit through the hole left side. So the first inning has been a struggle for Danny Duffy. A leadoff triple by Dozier. He scored in a wild pitch, and after he struck out Justin Morneau on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, Colabello worked the walk. Now Domet has singled, and Dave Island going out for a visit with Danny.
Yep, just kind of give him a little breather here. He's been working pretty hard. Okay, and he looks like he's throwing some pretty stressful pitches. So Dave's going to just be calm and say, hey, look, you can do it, young fella, let's go. But when you throw a breaking ball after a bunch of fastballs like that to a guy who's been behind your fastball like Domet, it speeds his bat up, and that's what happened on that base hit there. You're watching me. He slowed his arm action down just a little bit, but what that did, took enough speed off it, it sped his bat up, and he pulled it.
Now a good fastball hitter in Trevor Plouffe. Ball 1. Royals were down early last night, 3-0. And then they saw the kid, Andrew Albers, pitch an absolute gem. 8 1/3 shutout innings. Plouffe went. Ball, 2 strikes. So he's gone back to back with the breaking ball to Trevor Plouffe.
Now that was a beauty there.
Well, he said he's been adding and subtracting with his curveball, and Brett Hayes said it's been dynamite in the minor leagues. Shows him a fastball well away.
He really jumps off of that mound. And his momentum carries him to just the beginning of the grass there, the cutout there of the mound.
He has thrown 30 pitches so far in this first inning.
Okay, see him now. He builds nicely. He gets out there, but see that follow through leg kick. It pushes him right to the edge of the mound, the grass. There we go.
Well, he strikes out Trevor Plouffe on an 83-mile-an-hour changeup that fades away from him. But in the inning, gives up a run and throws a lot of pitches. 25 at Kauffman Stadium this year, 1-1 on this homestand. And here's a look at his lineup. David Lowe, good to see him back in the lineup after having problems with his right quad. Eric Hosmer bats second, then Butler, Gordon Kane, Moustakas, Miguel Tejada, Brett Hayes, Alcides Escobar round out the 9, and they will face a 30-year-old right-hander who has had considerable success against the Royals.
Yes, he has. But he has walked 16 in his last 4 games, so he's got some control issues of his own. You see the walks at 33 in the innings pitched. That's a little bit high. Strikeouts aren't a lot because he's really not overpowering. He'll go 85 to 93 with his fastball. He'll sink it. He's got a nice curveball, 4-seam fastball too. He'll go to 95. Change up and a slider. Very good movement on his pitches. He starts that ball over the middle, but it moves off the plate, and you just never know. So it might do the Royals well to be a little selective and patient first time through, just to check him out.
David missing the last 2 games because of the quad injury, and he is a 1-1 count. Hitting .300 on the nose. 4 home runs, 23 driven in. He's in the top 10 in about every single rookie category. 3rd in batting, 6th in runs scored, 8th in RBIs, 3rd in multi-hit games. One and two.
You do know his ball, it cuts, it runs, it sinks. It's got a slider. There's a little bit of it looked like a slider that just caught the top of the strike zone.
And Deduno is not necessarily a strikeout pitcher. Only 47 and 82 and a third.
Yeah, he has success because of the late movement. Hitters hate that more than anything. Because, you know, Lowe was on that one. He pulled it, but when that ball gets on you right before it gets to the plate, it takes off and cuts one way or another, and that results in a pop-up or a ground ball. Hitter can't square it up.
Would you move up on the plate if you faced a guy like that?
It depends. I would have to face him once the conventional way that I stood in the batter's box. And then if he was getting me out, then I would make some adjustments. But if I'm on him, I'm not changing my style. For a lot of these guys, they're getting a chance to face him now for the second time. David Lowe is 0 for 4 in his career off him. So if I was 0 for 4 off the guy, depending on what I saw, I might make some adjustments either up towards the plate or towards the pitcher's mound. And just an inch, too. An inch is a lot.
And Deduno actually has more success against left-handed batters than righties. Lefties batting .207 with 2 home runs. Right-handers .286 with 2 home runs.
Changeup moves away. Hard stuff in. Cutters on their hands.
A 3-2 count to David Lowe.
Okay, so far this is a perfect at bat. He's fouling off in some pitches. He's not totally up there being passive, but he's doing a good job as a spy for the rest of the team.
And then he whacks it into right field. So it is an at-bat similar to Brian Dozier as he forced Deduno to throw 9 pitches in his first at-bat and then singles to right.
Stayed on top of that ball beautifully. Anyone? No ball that pitches near the first hit of the game. You've done your job, even if you didn't win the at-bat. You know that sound? It almost sounds like a knock, and that's where the term baseball players use for base hit. That's a knock. Yeah.
Now we'll see the Royals player of the month of July. Eric Hosmer hit .324 in the 7th month. 4 home runs, 14 RBIs, doing even better since the All-Star break. Hitting .342 with 3 home runs, and he has really had success in this series. 5 for 8. And he launched a 417-foot home run in the 13-0 win on Monday. 3 hits, a career high 5 RBIs in that game. Nice play by Dozier, and then he fumbles with the baseball, trying to get the force at second base. Only, well, I was going to call it an error, but they're calling it a base hit for Hosmer.
Pressure to Duno. Ball was hit hard. 3-hopper. Dives. Has it. And you know what? Really, that's the official score's discretion. But when you hit a ball that hard, you can't expect a guy to make the play, but he had it in his glove, and he was ready to make the out. Just couldn't make the transfer.
Dozier is a very good second baseman. Only 3 errors in 96 games this year.
And you might see his head came off of that, but you don't need to see the transfer from glove to hand. These guys are big league infielders. You don't need to see that. He just missed.
And this is a tester, Rex, for David Lowe. His quad injury, and he may have to go second to home. Tell me about the outfield arms.
The outfield arms are pretty good. Clete Thomas, only has 3, but he's got a good arm in center field. Garcia in left, he throws well.
Butler leads Kansas City in RBIs with 57.
Colabello in right field. He doesn't have any assists yet, but he's got a decent arm.
But they're playing up in July.
They're playing awfully deep, though, Fizz, for Billy Butler. So if any base hit, I don't see him throwing low out.
A 2-1 count.
Billy is 3 for 8 with a double in his career against Duno. 1 strikeout.
Fouled it off at the plate, 2-2. He has torn apart Minnesota this year. Matter of fact, he came into that game in Minnesota with an 18-game hitting streak against the Twins, and this year he's batting .400 with 2 home runs, and 14 of his 57 RBIs this year have come against these Twins.
He won't answer back. Okay, Billy waited for that one to break there. Obviously, he's seen that pitch before, and he waited and almost caught it. Billy, 329 with a runner in scoring position this year.
Lowe single to right. He's at second. Hosmer with the infield hit. He's at first. That's trouble. They do get the 5-4-3 double play. Lowe taking third.
Okay, he stayed with the breaking ball, and Billy hit it on top. Carroll, he bobbled. He didn't quite get it out of his glove in time, but they still had enough to get Billy.
So now they need a 2-out base hit from Alex Gordon to tie this game at 1. Gordon in a 1-for-22 slide after 3 straight multi-hit games. Ball 1.
Alex, 315 now with runners in scoring position. That mark has been really high most of the season until the last month or so, and he's been slowly coming down.
He hits an absolute rocket at Justin Morneau. Morneau makes the play. Lowe is left stranded. The Royals with a promising first come up empty.
And more bad fortune for Gordon. Keep swinging it, Alex.
Danny Duffy threw 31 pitches in that first inning. Oswaldo Arcia is the rookie outfielder he'll face here, and I'd love to get him out quickly, as Arcia has had a tough series, going 0 for 7 with 5 strikeouts.
74 at bats against lefties this year. 284, not too bad.
You can see Danny a little angry, particularly with the lack of command on the breaking ball.
That was a little bit better there. It's a little smoother. Got to stay on top. If you throw on the side, you try to snap that breaking ball from the side, you're not going to get the type of depth that you're looking for. Stay on top of that breaking ball.
He gets back in the count with a fastball. So he's thrown 2 fastballs for strikes and missed with both breaking balls. RC was called up when Aaron Hicks was sent out. Three and 2. And he whacks it up the middle.
It's a good hitter.
Fans, the Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. The notables who have come back from Tommy John surgery: Samuel Deduno in 2007. Look at Floyd Strasburg, Wainwright, Medland, Bruce Chen. And we told you that Bruce talked about before the game that the feel for your secondary pitches are usually the last you're able to command. Here's Clete Thomas.
Amazing how many successful returns from that surgery, Fizz. And it's great that they honored Dr. Jobe in the Hall of Fame this year at the ceremonies. He was the guy who invented the procedure. And because Tommy John, the great left-hander in his day, was the first guy they used it on, Tommy has the privilege of having his name spoken all the time now.
0-2 to Clete Thomas. And Rex, I've talked to doctors and to therapists about Tommy John surgery, and they said a lot of times a young man comes up through the ranks on sheer talent, but doesn't take care of himself the way they do at the major league level, blows out his arm, and you hear stories about a guy who will come back and throw a fastball better than he used to. Well, that's 3 pitches and a strikeout, number 3 for Danny Duffy. And the point I'm trying to make is it is so hard to come back from Tommy John surgery and throw like Duffy is here, that then they get a program given by a guy like Nick Kenny and Kyle Turner and doctors and strength and conditioning coaches. They follow it religiously. Now they're in peak form.
Yeah, and their elbow is stronger because it has a new ligament attached to it. So it's wonderful. Extended many guys' career. And back in the day when that happened, you were done. They didn't have technology.
Pedro Florimon missed the last few games because of a left wrist injury. Doug Bernier was their starting shortstop. Nothing in 2.
Minnesota so far doing a pretty good job of being patient against Duffy. Now, if you're an aggressive hitter and you go up there swinging, you'll fall right into Danny Duffy's plan. Right now, they're going to be a little bit defensive. Go after him. Save your pitch count.
He does, and Florimon pops it foul, backing out of play.
Yeah, Duffy, he's not in any condition 0-2 to waste any pitches. Just challenge him and see what can happen.
The Royals were really controlling him down at AA and AAA. He was really going 5. When he did have excellent pitch efficiency, he might go 6. But most of his starts we saw right around 90 pitches, 95 pitches, 87 pitches, 83.
Before him, he has grounded into 5 double plays this year. Duffy would like that.
But Danny more of a strikeout fly ball pitcher.
He is, but you know, you never know when you can get that ground ball when you need it. Preserve your pitch count. 1 pitch, 2 outs. That's what he wants. Keep it down.
In there with the curveball. 4 strikeouts in not yet 2 innings.
Okay, last 2 of them looking. Beauty. Breaking balls both times. So starting to get a feel for that curveball now.
In game 1, we really saw an artist painting the corners in Jeremy Guthrie. All 4 of his pitches were thrown exactly where he wanted to. We rarely saw George Kataris even move his glove. And Jeremy was able to claim victory number 12, and that's most in the team. Top 10 in the American League. But Guthrie was pitching. Danny Duffy is still learning how to.
He's a thrower. Guthrie's a pitcher. Yeah, like I said earlier, Duffy, he just needs to stay healthy and stay in the rotation a full year. And that will help his maturity immensely. You can have a 200 inning season would be awesome.
In there with the strike, as you can tell, his stuff is overpowering. 4 strikeouts, less than 2 innings. Shields, Guthrie on the top step of that dugout watching their teammate, and they know he will be sent down after this one, as Wade Davis will be coming off the bereavement list. In there, off-speed pitch.
Nice change up there. Beauty.
Wade, as many of you know, lost his stepbrother the other day, and the funeral was today. Thoughts and prayers have been with Wade and his family during this difficult time. Meantime, on the field, Danny Duffy, electric in the 2nd inning, strikes out the side. He has thrown a ton of pitches early. The Twins lead him 1-0.
Great stuff. Tremendous.
Canadian night tomorrow when the Royals host the Red Sox. It's a ticket package that includes a free Royals at Royals t-shirt, access to a social hour at Rival Sports Bar where there will be a pregame Q&A with Jeremy Guthrie, who you just saw, and Fox Sports Kansas City host Joel Goldberg, and also a chance to win prizes. For tickets, go to Royals.com/Royals Social. Lorenzo Cain will lead things off. He is batting fifth tonight. Royals had 2 hits but no runs in the first. Daduna gets a strike across. Cain has hit in 17 of his last 20, now batting .258.
See that late breaking slider there. That's a real tough one. Especially you can't pick up the spin on it.
Lorenzo to center field, but it'll stay playable for Clete Thomas, who makes the catch for out number 1. Daduna really hot recently. 3-0 in his last 4 starts versus the Yankees, the Angels, Seattle, and Houston. He's allowed 5 runs in 27 innings against some pretty good offenses, maybe outside of the Astros. Mike Moustakas. He had 4 hits on Monday in the 13-0 victory.
When you have command of all of your pitches, you're dangerous. If you only have 1 or 2, you can be hit.
Morneau gives it up to Daduna, and there's 2 outs. Yeah, he really emerged in the WBC. He was the star of the World Baseball Classic champion Dominican Republic team, 2-0 record, 0.69 ERA in 3 starts, including winning the title game against Puerto Rico. But he did not come out of it that healthy, and they had to shut him down for a stretch during the regular season. When he got healthy, he has been their best starter. And Miguel Tejada was on that team. With a lot of infield for the Dominican team. Our Mike Swanson was in charge of their media relations, and he said it was a great group of guys to be with.
Yeah, that I talked to Mike before he went on that, and he was a little unsure, not exactly bilingual speaking guy, but loved to hear his response when he came back, just like you said. And Tejada and Daduna became friends. So there's some buddies out there competing against each other at the highest level right now.
Yeah, Swanee's seen about 30, 35 World Series, and he said that WBC, being part of the Dominican Republic team, was one of his great experiences in sports.
Ricky only has 1 at-bat, 0 for 1 against Daduna.
Come on, Samuel. Throw your old friend a cookie. Carroll has it. Royals go quickly and quietly in the 2nd inning.
Instead of a cookie, it's a jam sandwich.
course, rewind. Danny Duffy's first win at Oakland, June 14th, 2011, with over 100 family and friends making a 2.5-hour drive from Lompoc, California to watch him pitch. He won 7-4, giving up 2 runs in 6 innings. And now his family members are here again, his mom and dad, Dan and Deanna. There are 11 family members at the ballpark tonight, watching young Duff take on the Twins. And there is a base hit up the middle. Third straight inning that Minnesota has had their leadoff man on, and you can see Jamie Carroll just starting with a 2-strike approach.
Yeah, he always stays short to the ball. He knows his ability. He's not a power hitter, so he can be dangerous. Veteran guy. And Kane, got that ball in quickly because even at his age, he's in great shape and he's quick.
Now Morneau, who struck out swinging on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball first time up. He goes after the first pitch, a fastball, but away from him. Strike 1. Looked like Danny took a little off. Maybe that was the 2-seamer.
That's right. Give him different looks.
We saw a little late movement to it. Danny goes 6'2", 190. And Lompoc is midway between San Francisco and Los Angeles on California's central coast. It's best known for, unfortunately, its prison and also Vandenberg Air Force Base, where the Defense Department tests missiles and satellites. Not far from where the Wonder Dog grew up. 2-1.
But whenever we showed you that footage of him pitching in Oakland, that's an easy drive over for Duffy's fans.
Popped up the middle. Carroll around second, holds there. And the first 2 Twins reach in this 3rd inning. Well, the first Gordo Nation is tonight. And it will be every Wednesday home game for the remainder of the season. You can cheer on All-Star Alex Gordon in his special section with a $30 ticket. That includes a limited edition Gordo Nation t-shirt and seat in the field box or plaza sections in left field. Be a part of this fan section. Get your tickets at Royals.com/Gordo Nation for next Wednesday's day game against the Marlins.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool section over there Gordon's got. All white shirts up there right beyond that home run foul ball.
And they've got the Nebraska Cornhuskers here this Saturday. Nebraska night. Colabello walked his first time up. Danny has not gotten one ground out yet. He'd love to get one here.
Yeah, if he can throw that change up down low, get him out front, trying to pull it. Although Colabello, he goes to the opposite field. James Shields found that out. That was a cookie down the middle.
One ball, 1 strike.
You're not going to ask your number 4 hitter to bunt. Joe Vavra, third base coach from Minnesota, giving some signs, mainly just to the runners. Colabello looking down there just to make sure it doesn't think like they're giving anything away here. He's looking to drive.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Ball was in Hayes' glove when he swung. Stay with it.
Colabello, plenty of power, hit 27 home runs this year. In his time between the minors and the major leagues, and Brett really perhaps having a feel about this, going out and discussing matters with Danny.
And it's nice that he got here when he did, Hayes, because throwing to a catcher that you've most recently thrown to, there's a comfort level, and that's really important. So now the fact that Salvi happened to go on the DL, timing was good for Hayes to get up here.
Salvador in the 7-day concussion DL, but feeling a lot better. The headaches have subsided for Salvador Perez. He did have a very light workout today.
Just off the plate. Now those concussions are really delicate injuries, and you know, once you start working out after your initial headache is gone, sometimes you go work out and it comes back again. But fortunately, Salvi, we haven't heard from that yet.
In there, strike 3 call.
Okay, just reared back right there, and he stayed with the fastball, which is good, because Colabello, when he did swing at it, he was way behind it. I don't know what he was looking for, but that's what you do. Go right after it.
He has 6 strikeouts already. His defense has only made 1 out. And now Ryan Doma goes after that breaking ball at 82 miles an hour and was way out front.
Nothing wrong with that. Would have mixed him up. He was guessing first pitch fastball all the way.
Doma singled to left his first time up, and it was on a breaking ball.
Yep. He's only hitting 196 with a runner in scoring position.
The only out that was recorded, not by way of a strikeout, is Jamie Carroll popping up to right field in the first.
You know, Fizz, watching Duffy this year and watching just only his stuff, not the bodies. Sid Fernandez was a left-handed pitcher for the New York Mets that threw 96 to 97 with a big curve, just like what we're seeing Duffy. Occasional changeups. I faced him a lot, but Sid pushed up underneath the ball a little bit, and his fastball, it looked like it even rose a little bit. But they're a little bit comparable stuff-wise, not body type.
You mentioned somebody else earlier today, Derek Holland of the Texas Rangers.
Yep.
But I'm not sure Holland throws as hard as Danny.
No, he doesn't. But
we've seen Holland at 94, 95, but Danny Duffy, we've seen at 97, 98.
Yeah, and you know, and Holland's now got 4 or 5 years.
Exactly.
And so he's not.
He's a pitcher.
Right. He's learning how to pitch. And you take off some of the rough edges, and when you get a few years in, you don't have to throw as hard. It's not about velocity. It's all about command and change of speeds.
And Danny's gone from 1-2 to 3-2. That has him shaking his head. Runners go. Pitch is swung on and popped up left side. Carroll racing back to second as Moustakas makes the catch for out number 2. Rex, what is this like for the defense? He's either striking guys out or having long counts.
Well, you're standing out there waiting for him. There's nothing else you can do. You stand there and you wait, and you hope you're in the position. You're looking around at your coaches in the dugout, making sure you're in the right position. But, you're going to wander a little bit. You're going to look around. You're going to be a good groundskeeper if you're an infielder. You're going to, make sure all the little dirt, little clods or little divots in front of you are smoothed out.
Now Trevor Plouffe, who he struck out swinging his first time up. Duffy has thrown 68 pitches already and not yet through 3. Kansas City's defense, as you know, is as good as it gets. They've only made 7 errors their last 26 games. And if you read Baseball America today, well, they have this issue out called Best Tools, and 2 Royals were named best defenders at their positions. Salvador Perez, best defensive catcher. Eric Hosmer, best defensive first baseman.
Well, I can agree with that. But give them a little bit more time. They'll be mentioning Lorenzo Cain, Escobar, Moose.
I don't know if they had best 3 outfielders, because Alex Gordon is the finest left fielder I've seen play the game.
Didn't even mention Alex. Yeah, they're spectacular out there. And it's nice to see Ned staying with Tejada at second. He's not going to hurt you.
Tried to pop that fastball on the outside corner, barely missed it, 96, and Danny thought it was strike 3. But he hasn't been consistent enough with his pitches to get that call from Chris Conroy. He doesn't need it here. He just throws it right down the middle. An off-speed pitch at 83. And Dan Duffy and wife Deanna pleased with what they've seen through 3 innings from Danny.
I'll say. So is Blue.
Spending many months in and out of Children's Mercy Hospital, Jill Filer's son Cade lost his battle with brain cancer in 2003 because of his love for the Child Life program at the hospital. Jill, with the help of her husband Bill and son Evan, organized an annual birthday party in 2010 to raise money for the program by inviting the public for food, crafts, and fun. She is a tireless worker, we understand. This year's party, and Jill and her family helped raise nearly $13,000 with all proceeds benefiting the Child Life program.
Thank you, Joe.
1-0 Minnesota, bottom of the 3rd. Brett Hayes getting his first at-bat with the Royals, and he sends it down the line. That will be 2. Carroll just did nick it with his glove, and that kind of spun it off towards the wall.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, you know, Jamie Carroll, he'll tell you that he could have made that play, but since it was to his backhand side and it was hit so hard, that's a no-brainer. Nice double. All right, get something going here. Now move him along. Escobar really good at shooting that ball to the right side, but he hasn't been so good at getting his bunts down for some reason. And I asked him about that, and he said that he's trying to rush. He's too quick. He's too fast coming out. He needs to be a little bit more sure.
He was sure in game one, though, in that second inning. Remember when he dropped that bunt that Kevin Correa tried to make the play on and could not. Escobar loaded the bases. The Royals would score 6 runs in that second inning. Escobar with 2 straight 2-hit games after going 4 for 40 on the road trip. Royals did go 8-1, their best 9-game road trip franchise history. And Esky showing bunt. Takes inside, 1-1.
Escobar's always been a good sacrifice bunter. He's got 7 this year. That's tied for 4th in the league. And 20 infield hits. That's 6th in the league. But he wants to, if he's going to make it out, make it a productive one.
Royals had 2 on nobody out. Did not score in the first. And that will get it done. A base hit to right center field. Brett Hayes comes charging around with the tying run.
That is a big hit for Escobar. Escobar has been struggling. His average with runners in scoring position has been well over 300 all year. Under 300 now, but with that hit at 296, knocking in that tying run, might get it back over 300 again. And a boy, good inside out swing there.
Now it will be interesting to see if Ned is aggressive with Alcides Escobar. He is 12 for 12 stealing bases. David Lowe has had outstanding success against Minnesota this year.
And lots of times, you know, that pitcher he throws over there not with the intent to pick off the runner, but really to let the bench see if David Lowe was giving his hand away by bunting.
Lowe hitting over 350 against Minnesota this year with 6 extra base hits. 4 came in 1 game.
I'm not going to bunt Lowe here.
Well, he does, and it is a good one. Escobar goes to second.
So it worked. But, you know, guy's a doubles machine. He can advance it.
I thought they might let Escobar steal and then bunt him to third, only because Domet is catching and that's not Joe Mauer.
They'll play it safe. Just get the runner over and receive the love in the dugout.
Do you think he'll work around Hosmer to try and set up a double play?
It's possible. But when you work around a guy, you better be really careful, especially when that guy is red hot. Almost better standing up and give him an intentional pass.
Well, this guy is red hot. And Hosmer, with the base hit his first time up, has worn out in Minnesota lately. In his last 8+ games, has 17 hits in 35 at-bats against the Twins. And he's done damage in the production area as well. 4 home runs against Minnesota and 11 RBIs in just 9 games, 8+ this one.
If you get soft on him, he'll pull you. If you're going to stay firm with him and go away, he'll take you that way with authority.
1 ball, 1 strike.
He's really done a nice job adjusting this year with his front foot, keeping his weight back. He's able to find a happy spot with his hands. He's very comfortable. Early in the season, they were out away from him. Then he's brought him in some, but right now he's in a good spot. When I say happy spot, that's comfort. And what comfort means? Production.
Rex, he told me exaggerated early load. What's he talking about?
You know, you want to really gather yourself early. You want to make sure that you slow things down, but you want to be able to contain that with that front foot and then fire. But it's interesting. Sometimes these guys have a language of their own.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Like Hosmer was looking for the fastball, and Duduno, you never can tell what he's going to throw. He's got the good fastball with a lot of late movement. He's got the breaking ball and the changeup.
But neither pitcher in this game in a hurry to throw a pitch, which is okay. The game's not on a clock.
Hosmer swings and misses and strikes out.
stayed with off-speed stuff. If you get him to swing over a ball in the previous pitch like he did, he's going to stay right with it.
Rex, you were at something very, very special today at the K, the Special Olympic Clinic, something that is near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, it was fun out there. Are you kidding me?
There's your beautiful son,
yeah,
Cade.
These young adults out there with the former stars, alumni stars from the Royals, man, they were thrilled. And just because sometimes maybe they can't speak like a lot of people can because of their disability, doesn't mean that they can't be happy playing baseball. They may not be able to tell you, but, man, they showed it with their expressions, especially getting to play on the K turf, that Trevor turf out there. Special day, Fizz. Congratulations to the Royals for allowing that to happen.
And I understand they build an absolutely beautiful facility out in our neighborhood.
Sure did. Olathe, they got a Miracle League field out there.
You were there for that dedication.
Along with this guy right here, Billy Butler, Holland, and several of those alumni guys that showed up today, man. There's a big, big support from the Kansas City Royals and their former athletes.
And Billy has always given back. He's always been aware of what needs to get done in the community. He was named the winner of the 47th Annual Hutch Award in 2011, given each year to a Major League Baseball player who best exemplifies the honor, courage, and dedication of baseball great Fred Hutchinson, both for an on-field achievement and off-field work. He and Katie created that Hit It a Ton campaign in 2008. Donating 1 ton of food for each home run and a half ton for each double. Ground ball short. Billy is out, so are the Royals, but they do score just their second run this year off Samuel Deduno to tie the game.
Happy faces, a lot of base hits, big hearts.
To beat for the final wild card spot. Texas, Baltimore, Cleveland. Text 432-432 and enter A, B, or C. The unlimited sweepstakes presented by Sprint. Vote in tonight's Unlimited Answers poll and enter for your chance to win 2 Crown Club tickets to a future Royals game courtesy of Sprint. Danny goes outside. That gives us an opportunity to check in with Joel Goldberg.
Well, Fizz, we heard on the pregame show Nate Bukaty interviewing Bruce Chen about his Tommy John experience in 2008. Also, I had a chance to talk in the Twins clubhouse with Mike Pelfrey, who we've seen a few times this year, and he returned from Tommy John this season after just 11 months, really quick. The former Wichita State Shocker, and they're all different, but what Mike said was, and he was really looking forward to watching Danny pitch last year or tonight to see how he would do, but he said that he found with himself the arm strength would get better over time, and like Bruce said, the command of the fastball was pretty good early on. It was the secondary stuff that it really took him a while to get a feel for, and actually throughout the process, as he started to throw, there was a fear factor, he said early on, when he threw that first breaking ball, thinking, boy, I don't know if I could do this or not, and he threw it from 45 feet and then 50 feet and built up that confidence. But he said now, and you look at his numbers, it backs it up. April wasn't very good. May wasn't very good. Now you start to see it coming around after a few more months. It's a process, and he said there's no pain anymore at all, but that there's more down times or just more times where your arm is tired. And, guys go through it all the time throughout the season, 1 or 2 times, 3 times, where their arm is a little bit tired. But he said that happens more often. He can go out there and pitch great, and then the next start, no pain, but his arm just doesn't feel as strong. And so it really, really can be a long process coming back, one that Mike Pelfrey is still dealing with.
That's why I think it's more like 18 months than 12. We hear that more and more. Tejada makes the play, and Arcia is the first man out in the 4th inning. And because he has had so many stressful innings, I would not be at all surprised if Ned Yost, if he is over the, if he's near that 90 pitch mark through 4 innings, he immediately goes to the bullpen.
Also listening to the pregame show, Nate Bukaty asked Bruce Chen about the way he felt. It said Bruce took 16 to 18 months to feel totally back.
Here is Cleet Thomas, who struck out swinging his first time up. And Jeff Montgomery, he talked about it being a process. First time you do a physical therapy that they give you, and you're going, well, is my arm going to be able to hold up? Then the first time you just throw. Then the first time you throw off a mound. First time you do long toss. Everything is a first. And he said when you go from the minor leagues to the major leagues, that is another stepping stone. He's given up 1. He has struck out 7 in 3 1/3. And the Royals certainly have a wealth of talent in the minor league system, along with Danny Duffy, Kyle Zimmer. Every scout we talk to raves about his stuff. And there is ball 4. Matter of fact, Zimmer gave up his first runs in Double-A last night, 2 runs in a little more than 4 innings, but struck out 8. Giordano Ventura has been very strong at Triple-A Omaha.
Yep, it's great to have arms. That's what the game revolves around. So if anybody leaves, Santana leaves free agency, they got an opportunity to put somebody in there. But we haven't even really talked about Paulino at all. So we'll check on Paulino and see how his progress is. But early on I told you that Duffy was going to throw a majority of fastballs. Well, so far through tonight he's thrown 75% fastballs.
Pedro Florimon. Yeah, he's lost a little bit of command with his fastball. We've seen a lot of fastballs up in this inning. You mentioned Felipe Paulino. He was going to be sent out to Triple-A and will pitch tomorrow against Sacramento.
Good.
Two and 0.
Falling behind in this inning. Looks to me like he's forcing it. There you go. That's the way to get in there. Try to repeat that delivery. Okay, let's check it out. This is what the hitter's looking at. High leg kick, good separation, straight down over the top. That must have been that last pitch. It's perfect.
How about the same pitch right here? Reaches out touches it to Tejada. It's a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play.
Escobar and Moose will do fine too.
Well, he threw it almost in the same spot, but did not get the call from Conroy.
You're just missing with that outside pitch tonight.
Great pick by Eric Hosmer. That would have been down the line. But we're seeing a little bit of negative body language from Danny.
Yep. I've noticed that, but it's been pretty much to a minimum, though. I mean, it hasn't been a lot. Just this inning, he's a little frustrated. He knows he's getting towards the end of his.
We talked to his catcher before the ball game, and we said, Brett, he is a very emotional guy, very passionate guy about the game. And he said, yes, there are times I have to go out and tell him, make sure you breathe. Take a breath and let it out slowly. The runner goes, pitch is fouled off. And Brett, with a delightful personality, and here's a guy who was he had quite a bit of time with the Marlins over a 4-year period.
Yeah, he's an excellent defensive catcher.
All whack at Nevada Reno. I think if he throws him a breaking ball that's close to a strike, Florimon will have no chance. He is so geared up for that fastball now.
Yeah, he might swing over the top of it. Right-handed, he's only hitting $136.
Lewis Coleman has started to throw for Kansas City as his pitch total is nearing 90. Runner goes. Escobar's only play as first was a nifty pickup by Esky after it clipped off of Duffy and went right to Alcides.
Yeah, it was. That play's not easy, but when you have hands like Escobar, watch how he just Duffy tipped it up for him. But look at that. He just kind of goes Olay, and that's called soft hands there. He's able to just make that play as he's got great eyes and soft hands. Nifty play there.
Thomas, though, moves into scoring position for the very tough out Brian Dozier. He has scored Minnesota's only run with a triple in the first inning, and coming in on a wild pitch thrown by Duffy when he tried to throw his first curveball and missed by about 10 feet. Next pitch will be his 92nd. In there. Quickly in front of Dozier, 0-2. Twins with a run in the first. Royals came back with a run in the third. And a double by Hayes and a single by Escobar. Two left. Over the head of Gordon and Dozier. It continues to be a major pain for Kansas City as he's put the Twins back in front with a 2-base hit.
When you're sitting on that fastball and it ends up in a spot where you're looking, you're going to square it up. Hayes wanted it outside, and that thing drifted right back over the middle of the plate, and that'll be his last pitch of the night.
Yeah, Ned said between 90 and 100, but the stressful innings that Danny has had to go through in this game, this is the right time to get him out of there. And Ned has taken the ball from Danny Duffy, and he will get a fine ovation. His first start did not go the way he wanted it to, but Mom and Dad are there to encourage him.
7 punch-outs, not too shabby for that little limited work there.
When he figures it out, he's going to be really tough.
Yep, I agree.
Is there a Chevy call? The Royals are on the road. Mark your calendar to come out to KC's biggest and best party when the Kansas City Irish Fest slides into Crown Center Square over Labor Day weekend with special appearances by our own slugger. So fans, get your tickets at kcirishfest.com, and also make sure to get the green KC Shamrock t-shirt presented by the Irish Fest on September 17th at the K. Lewis Coleman out of the bullpen.
Love the Irish.
Since you are one.
Well, Lewis Coleman, man, he's been just a model of consistency. Great slider there. Good little two-seam fastball. Occasional changeups, but not very many. He's a two-pitch guy, and when he's on his command, he's been untouchable. And can't score on him.
This is really tough on right-handers,
I'll say. But, you know, the fact that Will Smith came in and filled in admirably for James Shields last night, that saved an already rested bullpen. So there's plenty of arms out there to finish up this game and to head into the series against Boston.
Right-handers only batting 148 against Coleman. The big question mark in the past, Rex, was left-handers hit him so well, but this year Lewis has been fantastic getting lefty hitters out. 20 have faced it, only 2 have base hits.
He's hitting the spots. It's located. Slider has been really good. He's got a short tight one, and he's got one that has a little more depth to it.
Twins have won 4 of 5 after being swept by Kansas City in Minnesota at Target Field last week. The Royals have won 12 of 14 and are 14-4 since the All-Star break. Got him. Threw a fastball at 92 right by Jamie Carroll.
Wow. Ed chose the right guy at the right time. Get him some runs.
Weekend off right with baseball and fireworks at the K this Friday versus the Red Sox. So make sure to stay after the game for our summer fireworks show, courtesy of Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Mark your calendar, invite friends and family, and get tickets at Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS for summer fireworks. New catcher is Chris Herman. We will try and find out what ailment was ailing Chris Herman. We understand that he is under the weather, a little nauseous. So Chris Herman takes over. They still have available Joe Mauer. Pretty good option to go to.
Yep. But with an off day tomorrow in Chicago for Minnesota, they're going to go ahead and double up Mauer. Give him one off today and one off tomorrow. See if Alex can hit one soft. The line shots aren't working. They're not falling. They're right at people.
He hit one absolutely on the screws his last time up and roped it to Justin Morneau. And it's down the line. The Royals would be tied at 2 because the man was at third base. Deduno has only struck out 1, but he's getting a lot of ground outs in this game, including a important double play in the first inning with 2 on, nobody out. A 5-4-3 double play hit by Butler. Hit well, center field, and deep, and gone.
Catch that one. All right, that's how you do it. Don't want him to catch it. Get up underneath one. Gordo Nation's proud. 11th home run that was hit on the line. And center fielder Cleve Thomas, took 2 steps and said, man, that ball's over my head. Might have to go check for some tracer burns on his forehead because that ball was not walking.
That's only the 5th home run off of Deduno this year. And there's the Gordo Nation. They broke out the T-shirts for the first time. This was our premiere of Gordo Nation Night. Discounted tickets in left field. Beautiful T-shirts like that. Lorenzo Cain pops it up shallow left. Florimon. 1 out.
Okay, man, whenever you use this goal, 103.7. That ball got out in a hurry. Oh, that's a call, Fizz. You say swung on, gone. That quick. That's why I don't have calls.
11 home runs now for Alex Gordon. Back in square one. We had 2 blowouts in the first 2 games. KC winning 13-0. Minnesota coming back last night 7-0. And now Mike Moustakas. He had a 4-hit game on Monday. All 4 hits pulled to right field.
Moose is hitting .302 since the All-Star break. Gotta like that.
With 4 home runs.
Steady climb.
He hit 20 last year. Streaky hitter. But he pushes that one towards the second baseman, Dozier. 2 outs. Deduno now versus his WBC teammate Miguel Tejada. And Tejada came in to this homestand very hot. An 8-game hit streak, 12 for 28, but he's cooled off. And we had asked Ned Yost how long would he put Miguel into that second base spot. And he said, I will ride him as long as I can. As soon as he shows me he's tired, I'll take him out.
Or he might tell him he's tired.
Cowboy up.
But I don't think he'll do that.
In there. Miguel having a lot of fun playing this year. Struggled a little bit the last 2 seasons, but really got himself in great shape this offseason. Formed in the Caribbean World Series, and we told you about the WBC. And Dayton Moore signed him just before the start of spring training. And he has been an incredible acquisition. Good pitch by Duduno.
Yeah, they say he went on that. Hard to argue with that. Almost, even though he kept it close to his body, he swung that bat head around.
Whack to left field.
Waited for one. His buddy Duduno gave him one. Right down the middle. Belt high. Ooh, yeah. Short, quick swing. And, you know, he's on the ball because he's been hitting line drives to the opposite field, left field, center field. You know, he's really in a nice groove right now. Tied it up with 6 apiece. 6 hits.
Brett Hayes doubled his first time up. Brett Hayes, he has a Royal connection. His dad, Tim, was selected by the Royals in the 4th round in 1975, but never played pro ball. His grandpa, Tim, did. The Cleveland organization in their minor league system.
It's a way to be selective. You know he wants to have a good game, and he already has. When you don't play that often, you're making your Royals debut and you get a nice double. That's already something good. Plus, when you're the catcher, you're in every single pitch of the game for your team. But he wants to do more, so he's being selective up there. He's waiting for his pitch.
Career .217 hitter with 8 home runs in 143 major league games. His best season was 2 years ago in 2011 with the Marlins. At .231 with 5 home runs. And gets his second hit. Stay hot, Hayes.
That's right. You know, he didn't hit it all that hard, but he hit it in the right place. Stayed with that breaking ball. That's nice. And Tejada, he thought about going to third base on that. I'm glad he pulled back. But he got him something he can handle out over and stayed on top of it. 2 for 2. Batting 1,000. Way to go.
Now Escobar, who's picked things up recently with 5 hits in his last 3 games. He knocked in the Royals' first run. Royals have come back twice in this game. They have never had the lead. Strike 1. Minnesota took a 1-0 lead in the first. Royals tied in the third. Twins took a 2-1 lead in the fourth on a double by Dozier that scored Thomas, but Gordon led this 4th inning off with a long home run. Now 2 on with 2 out. Escobar chased a bad pitch. And he pushes it past Morneau into right field. Tejada coming screaming home will score the go-ahead for the Royals.
Oh, man, that was a beautiful piece of hit. Again, Escobar. with his second hit and RBI of the night. Tejada with a nice little head-first barrel roll at home. You know, I don't know if he can take too many of those with his body, but man, that made Ned a little nervous. But this is a beautiful piece of hitting with 2 strikes. Look at how the booty came out, but the hands and head stayed right there, man. It's beautiful. He shot that ball right where he wanted to hit that. Really nice piece of hitting. And Miguel Tejada was off like a dart on contact. That didn't make Ned too excited to see one of his star players at 39 years young roll like that, but he's all right.
Pat's cowboying up.
That sure is. Just score that run.
So the Royals have their first lead of the game at 3-2, and Miguel talking all about how he hit that pitch with 2 strikes on him to left field. And now he has scored. Escobar with 2 RBIs in the game, 39 this year.
Really a good timing for Escobar. He needed some confidence in the worst way.
I am guessing they are reminding Duduno how to pitch to Lowe. Lowe showed Minnesota how he can handle an inside fastball. So they throw a fastball that's away from him, and strike 1 as he fouls it straight down. Well, this is the most the Royals have ever scored off of Samuel Duduno, who came in with a 3-0 record, a 0.93 ERA against Kansas City. And this year alone, in 2 starts, 1 earned run in 3 starts, 1 earned run in 19 1/3 innings.
All right, it's his time. 0-2, it doesn't really matter. But with 2 outs, he's been money.
Escobar got that base hit with 2 strikes on him.
David Lowe putting on a clinic.
Duduno has struck out only 1. Detroit is leading Cleveland 4-3 in the 8th. We understand the Tribe has just scored a run to tie it up at 4. And the ball gets away, but they'll be able to get David at first base. If he broke immediately, he may have been able to make it, but does not. But the Royals do score 2 runs in this 4th inning. One on the Gordon home run, the other on the Escobar single. It's 3-2 Royals.
Timely hit.
takes us to Cleveland, where the Tigers looking to extend that long winning streak, and Miguel Cabrera goes deep in that one, his 33rd on the year, and he is now up to 102 RBIs. But Fizz did just mention it, the Indians coming back and scoring a run to tie it in the bottom of the 8th, so it's 4-4 right now, heading into the top of the 9th. Who knows, maybe Indians fans will get to see Chris Perez, and maybe he'll mess another one up tonight. He did, after the blown save the other night, tell the Cleveland Plain Dealer beat writer the next day after that mess that he was no longer talking to the media this year.
Ooh. Not a wise move, because the media has the final word.
I thought that hand gesture that he does, you can't see me, that must apply somewhere there.
I guess so. Detroit has won 10 straight games. Tomorrow they send Max Scherzer to the hill against one of the young right-handers. Trying to remember who I mentioned earlier that Cleveland has going tomorrow. Zach McAllister off the disabled list. There's a base hit to right field by Justin Morneau. Only the third hit in 21 at bats by a left-hander this year off of Lewis Coleman. He came on in relief of Danny Duffy, who got the start, gave up 2 runs in 3 2/3 innings, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks. And our Toyota League leaders show that the Royals bullpen ERA is the best in the American League, ahead of Oakland and Texas. And then the Twins pretty strong.
Yeah, for being as taxed as they have been, I'm surprised Minnesota's even in that category.
The Royals bullpen has only allowed 8 earned runs in the last 42 1/3 innings. That covers that 14-game stretch where KC has won 12.
And they're well rested.
Hayes has caught Coleman before, as Lewis was at Omaha earlier this year.
Coleman's the kind of pitcher that can induce a ground ball easy. With that sidearm action to a first base, or excuse me, to a right-handed hitter, he's going to hit the top half lots of times, especially on the slider, going away from him.
Royals have turned 79 double plays this year. Beautifully painted on the outside corner, right at the knees. So advantage Coleman at 1 and 2. Tim Collins beginning to warm up in the Kansas City pen. Ned Yost has said many times, my job is to somehow hand the ball to Greg Holland with the lead in the 9th.
There's still a pretty good ways to go before we get there.
You got that right. Only in the 5th.
I think, this might be Coleman's last hitter. He wants to be able to use Coleman tomorrow if he has to.
And Chris Herman is waiting his turn on deck. There is Holland, who was named the American League Relief Pitcher of the month of July. Put together a sensational stretch. As a matter of fact, his greatness goes back to the end of May. Greg has converted 22 straight saves. That's the 3rd most in Royals history. Great pitch on the slider and struck him out.
19th strikeout now by Coleman. Really, really nasty. He took a little bit off this one. It stayed down. Beautiful spot.
And 19 in only 15 1/3 innings. He's ready to take a picture. With Mom and Dad's rather expensive camera.
Maybe she's going to be a photographer someday. Might be hers. Never know. Could be her camera.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
That'll work.
No need for Collins there. Open. Fantastic.
Baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread. Try pasta the Panera way. Live cautiously, eat deliciously. And by Ford. See the new F-150 at your Midwest Ford dealer today. And by AT U-verse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Joe Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery with you at the K. Royals leading Samuel Deduno. And here comes Mr. Multi-Hit Game, Eric Hosmer, 40 this year, 1 tonight. Make it 2. His 41st multi-hit game, and Eric will go to second base. Stop there with a double.
Beautiful attack. I mean, he stayed on top of that ball. Good top hand. Hooked that flag right by it. Look at that nice take back. Front foot slowed him down. Stiff leg, great balance, and he kept it fair. And as he got to second base, he looked over there for Eddie Rodriguez. And Eddie had both hands in the air saying, don't come over. Just take it easy right there. Good position there. You like that?
Hud, he almost hyperextends that front leg of his.
He really gets in there.
I know you were telling me early in the season his softer landing.
Yeah, it's a little softer landing, but man, I'm going to tell you what's impressive is the spread that this guy has. And but see this, and the foot's pointed this way, that keeps him locked in. That keeps him posed. Good bend to the back, but you can see that it's almost got a little bend to it. He's got it going on.
And Billy Butler kicks one through the left side. Hosmer had to hold. He wasn't sure at first if the shortstop Florimon would get to it. The ball kicked up and into left field, so Billy Butler got some top spin on that one.
He did Arcia, he's a good thrower out there. And with nobody out, there's no need for Eddie Rodriguez to keep throwing into an out. There, especially with Gordon coming up. After he hit a laser liner out of the yard to right center. Actually, that was dead center. It caught all green of the batter's eye.
The corners are playing in. The middle halfway for Gordon.
Get one airborne.
And Alex more likely to do that with that slight uppercut in his swing. He has only grounded into 3 double plays this year.
Yeah, he's one of the hardest to double up in the league.
And he has the second most sacrifice flies in the team with 5. Lorenzo Cain, interestingly, has the most with 6. In there, 1-1. Alex broke a 1-for-23 slide with that long home run to center field in the 4th, tying the game. Escobar gave him a 3-2 lead with a single with 2 out, plating Miguel Tejada from second. Ooh, he had a good rip, but was looking fastball, got the off speed.
Yeah, great pitch there to pull that string on. Duduno, he might try the same pitch. With that ball moving down like that, a hitter's going to hit the top half of it, and he wants a little double play.
That time, he didn't bite.
Yeah, he threw it again, though.
Last night, Andrew Albers derailed the Royals Express with 8 1/3 shutout innings in his major league debut. They're facing a guy who had thrown a collar around the Royals this year in Samuel Duduno. Outside corners called for a strike 3, and Alex does not like the call from Chris Conroy.
But never throws a fit. He just might stand there and say, you know what, I thought that ball was away, but it's right on the corner and maybe a little too close to take. That's probably what Alex is telling himself.
So we talked about Lorenzo Cain leading the team in sacrifice flies. He needs to get one airborne here or maybe do better, but he does have 6 to lead the club. He has 42 driven in. Hosmer's at third. All of a sudden, Duduno's throwing the strikeout pitches. He has 3 in this game, but remember, he's not a strikeout pitcher. 50 this year in over 85 innings. The good ones are usually 1 per inning. Lorenzo with a mighty impressive bases loaded walk on Monday. At the time, it was a 0-0 game that started their 6-run second inning. Back up the middle, kicks into right field. Hosmer scores. 4-2 Kansas City. Butler to third, Cain to second. He is out.
Whenever that ball deflects off the pitcher's leg, you got a chance, and that really slowed it down. Get Butler all the way to third base. However, Lorenzo Cain got a little bit too happy out there and got thrown out. They're going to check on Duduno. Look at Hosmer coming in. That's the way to pick him up, though, Cain. That's beautiful. They needed that run. And now see, he's going to think, you know what, maybe, but he didn't even look to see if anybody's covering second base. And got it. So Duduno talked his way staying in, and Gardenhire seems to be okay with that. We'll see now if they can do some 2-out hitting here, Moose can, and pick him up and get another ribby.
Eric Hosmer started it with a double. Billy Butler singled him to third. 1 out, Cain then roped one off of Duduno into right field. Now Mike Moustakas, who was 0 for 2 twice, grounding out to second base. Samuel's thrown 83 pitches. 59 strikes. 24 have missed.
Tell you what's been impressive about Sam Meduno tonight is no walks. He's had 16 walks in his last 4 games.
Well, this is the Kansas City Royals.
They're
They
hackers.
walk about as few times as any team in the majors.
They're getting the job done. Got 11 hits so far.
Royals very aggressive team. You'll see that a lot with young offensive players. Butler at third. Royals have scored a couple in this frame. Or excuse me, they've scored 3 in the last 2 innings and 1 in this 5th. Just off the plate, continues to try and tease Moustakas with the off-speed pitch. He has a right-hander on deck in Miguel Tejada. Ripped down the line, and what a play by Morneau. That is a tremendous run-saving play by Justin Morneau.
Oh, can't hit any better. Way to go, Haas. Keep the multi-hits coming.
Royals lead it 4-2. Danny Duffy made his first start in 451 days. Gave up 2 runs in 3 2/3 innings. Struck out 7, walked a couple, topped out at 99 miles an hour. And HUD, he threw 33 pitches that were clocked at 95 or better.
Well, we knew he had that arm strength back. He's going to have to get a few more reps, maybe get that feel back and the touch back for his breaking ball. Threw a couple of nice ones for strikes, but he missed a lot of them. They were a little bit off the mark, and had some good change-ups he mixed in there.
KC loves number 41. And he really wanted to get back out there. We knew there would be a lot of emotion, a lot of passion. Ned Yost said just that in the dugout before the game. He said there would be a lot of excitement, but the stuff is there. And I'm sure Deanna, Dan, Duffy, 11 family members here.
Believe it. She's probably shaking her head listening to our conversation saying, that's right, my son's got the stuff. He just needs a little bit more time to get that in focus. I can't believe she caught him. Till he threw so hard he wanted to hurt his mom.
Gordon runs down, Plouffe pop up to left field, and Lewis Coleman doing a terrific job as he's gotten 5 big outs in this one.
Okay, Danny Duffy. He's getting ready to go tonight, full of energy, really strong. 95 plus, dad and mom watching. Nothing wrong with what he did. Especially if his team goes on and wins behind his start, that'll make him feel extra special. It's all about wins, and I like how he talked earlier about just being privileged and honored enough to be a part of this team.
Our Chevy call to the bullpen brings on Tim Collins as a couple of left-handers, Arcia and Thomas, will be coming up. Good job by Lewis Coleman.
Yes, sir.
TV commercial. We'll go to Royals.com/photo challenge to submit a photo of your Royals pride. Each week we request a different themed photo to submit, and fans with winning photos will be included in the commercial and then recognized on the field at a Royals game. All photos must be submitted by this Friday at noon, so make sure to check out Royals.com/photo challenge today.
Hey, Hallie, way to make it to the K. Yes, he is. There's Hallie right there.
Sam Abramson's niece.
Yeah, glad she could make it. Nice seats, too.
Brilliant editor in the TV truck. Oswaldo Arcia is 1 for 2 in this game. Singled off of Danny Duffy in the second and grounded out in the fourth. Tim Collins comes out of the bullpen. He's been much improved in the last month of the season. Commanding all of his pitches of late.
That's right. He's been solid. Especially his curveball. Last few outings, his curveball's been on the money. Big, nice break to it. Going for strikes. Keeping it down.
He gave up a run on Sunday, but that was the first charge to Tim in 7 outings since the All-Star break. And there's that big bender, and sometimes he will throw it where it looks like it's going to hit the batter and then bends down and into the zone.
Yeah, not too bad. Good effect. You know, that run he gave up, he didn't actually give it up. It was his run.
Look at that. And then he took even more off the breaking ball, dropped down to 73, and Arcia had no chance.
Collins' confidence is at sky high. You can tell. He's getting out there and he's throwing that majority curveballs. And when his confidence is not right with his curve, he stays with his fastball and straight changeup. But curve's tough for righty or a lefty to hit.
I'll tell you, that lefty they threw last night, Will Smith, what a job he did. 3 perfect innings. Struck out 5.
Yeah, no, Will Smith, he's helped save that bullpen.
And that Now, he was sent down to allow Danny Duffy to start tonight.
We'll see Will Smith again.
Then the Royals have two lefties in the pen, and it's really interesting because they're totally different. I mean, one's 6'5", good down angle. The other's 5'7", comes at you with three excellent pitches.
You know, it's hard to argue with success when you have the best ERA in the American League with your bullpen. Heck, it's well balanced and stocked with a bunch of hard throwers at the end. The manager's dream, having a pen that can blow by guys late in games.
When 55% of your games, Hud, are decided by 2 runs or less, you better have a good bullpen. And we told you the numbers during that last stretch, and you add the job that Coleman and Collins have done thus far in this game. The bullpen in the last 15 games has given up 8 earned runs in 45 innings. +1. Clete Thomas, you're gone. Collins comes in, faces 2, strikes out 2.
Oh, Clete, you got to go.
"39 years young, continues to get the job done. His all-out hustle, leadership in the clubhouse. Tejada already a part of this 4-2 Kansas City lead, getting that single, scoring a run. And as you know, the 6th inning is our Sonic Slam inning, and our contestant is Brenda Keeney from Harrisonville, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Brenda will win $200. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Brenda gets $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals.
Energy on the field. He's got it. Production on the field, he's got that too.
Two balls, 2 strikes. This could be Duduno's final inning. He's thrown 91 pitches, 62 strikes, and they have Thielbar warming up in the Minnesota pen. Tejada, Hayes, and Escobar here in the bottom of the 6th. Second hit of the night for Miggy.
Well, Diduno, he's maybe not having his best outing of the year, especially against the Royals, who's dominated. He wasn't real happy, so he tried his punting style on for change. Fortunately for him, he picked something soft that wouldn't hurt himself. Not happy.
He had been pitching so well. We told you last 4 starts against the Yankees, Angels, Seattle, and Houston allowed just 5 runs in 27 innings. And here goes Brett Hayes to left center field. It would be caught by Cleat Thomas. But Hayes with 3 quality at bats in this game, a double, a single, and now this long fly ball just did get it off the end of the bat.
Diduno 3-0 with a 0.93 against this team, the Royals?
Yes. Wow. Oh, man, he has dealt in the past. His last game was June 27th. Won 3-1, gave up 1 run in 7 innings and beat Jeremy Guthrie, even though Jay Guts pitched very well. Now, Escobar, I think, Rex, has been his biggest problem. Number 9 hitter, 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and both have come at big times in the game.
Yeah, I agree with you. And for Escobar, just get that comfort level back up where it needs to be, because they really got to have his bat. They're going to make the solid push that they're making right now.
Great pick by Herman.
That was Merry Christmas.
You think the ball found him?
No question.
How about the 7, 8, and 9 hitters for the Royals tonight? 6 for 8. The double came from Hayes. And that was a pleasant addition for Brett Hayes, because he has always been known for his defense and not his offense.
Managers really don't care where they're getting their production from, Fizz, as long as they're getting production. Now you typically like your leadoff guys and your power guys to do the job at the top, in the middle, but hey, Brett Hayes, good job, man. Way to check in today. Escobar. Tejada.
Good breaking ball. 1 and 2 to Escobar. Colabello takes care of Esky, so very quickly 2 outs here in the 6th inning, and it's time to check out our AT&T trivia question. Last night was about catchers. Tonight it's about players with 3,000 hits. Who has the most strikeouts? It's got to be an our era, as Samuel Diduno will check out. He's going to go inside and check with his encyclopedia to see if he knows the answer to our AT&T question. Thielbar when we come back. Samuel Deduno, a little upset with the way he pitched tonight, gave up 4 runs on 12 hits to Kansas City. The runner at first base belongs to him, and we want you to swing for the fences with the new Home Run Derby mobile game from MLB.com that features previous Home Run Derby competitors. Enjoy the arcade mode that brings high-impact thrills as you compete for the highest scores, or Derby mode that recreates the authentic Derby tournament. Available on iPhone and iPad. Download MLB.com's Home Run Derby game for free today. Caleb Thielbar will be the new Twins pitcher. He's from a small Minnesota town of Northfield, Minnesota.
Big breaking ball to lefties, that's for sure. He's going to go 90 to 93 with his fastball.
Lowe has singled, sacrificed, and struck out. 1 for 2.
Occasional changeups he'll throw, but that's to righties.
Thielbar left Northfield, Minnesota, and went to South Dakota State University. Got a degree in wildlife and fisheries management, and ended his career as the Jackrabbits' all-time leader in starts and innings pitched. Ranked 2nd in strikeouts. Hit high in the air, playable for the center fielder Cleet Thomas. The Royals get their leadoff man on, but do not score. We head to the 7th. Royals 4, Twins 2. Visit Dodge.com or your local Dodge dealer today. And by Fox Sports in the state of Missouri are teaming up to help you stop smoking. For more information, call 800-QUIT-NOW. Tim Collins came on, did a great job to end the 6th inning, striking out Arcia and Thomas. Now will face the switch-hitting Pedro Florimon, who will bat from the right side. Number 9, 1, and 2 hitters in the 7th. One thing we've got to mention in the late innings, Rex, is the fact that Ron Gardenhire has a trump card on his bench, and that man is Joe Mauer. Swing and a miss.
Love the way you can raise that elevation. And when you do that, coming out of that same plane as the curveball, both fastball and curveball coming out when it's upstairs with his fastball, it's deceptive to the hitter, man. He can't pick that up. He's going, wow.
Look at that.
That's right. That's
perfectly placed outside corner.
It's a beauty.
He's faced 3. He struck all 3 out. The last 2 looking.
Yeah, beautiful spot. I'm telling you.
And his reward for that is to be lifted from the game.
It's all right. He did his job.
You should have struck out 4, even though you faced only 3. Here comes Aaron Crow.
Fantastic job. In to win.
Question: who will be the toughest to beat for the final wild card spot? Will it be the Rangers, Orioles, or Indians? Most of you think Texas, and they have been an awfully tough playoff team the last 3 years. They know how to get there, but will they have the offense to get there, particularly without Nelson Cruz now? Aaron Crow takes over for Kansas City out of the bullpen. He is 7-2 since June 1st, recording a 1.71 ERA.
Yeah, and that's going to work nicely as long as that slider is. That's his best pitch. Uses his fastball in the mid-90s to set that up.
They've gone to the 11th. Detroit and Cleveland tied at 4. Oh, that one took a weird hop and kicked right over the head of Mike Moustakas.
Yeah, it did. Moose was playing him in because Dozier can bunt, but Dozier's all over that ball. I mean, just missed Moose's head. Might have caught him a little bit, but
no, it kicked.
I'm just saying, might have caught him in the head a little bit, or just missed his head.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Let's see, as a 1-2 hopper, that second hop. Just missed it.
It hit the lip of the grass and then took off. That's where it got that high kick. So Brian Dozier with a triple, a double, a single, and he has been a major problem for the Royals to get out. He stays hot now. 5 hits in this series. He had a 10-game hit streak end on Sunday. Carroll takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Dozier's just home run from the cycle.
Yes, he is. Now that you have said it, we have jinxed him, and that's indeed a good sign.
He's got plenty of time to get another AB. But in that time of the game, could be against Greg Holland.
Well, I'm hoping he doesn't get up again. Love to see Aaron Crow get a double play right here, get out of the inning. Have Justin Morneau lead off the 8th. Runner goes. Pitch taken. Throw to second. Not in time. So Dozier has his 9th steal, and he is just playing terrific baseball.
He is. You know, he's really playing with a sense of urgency. Short to the ball offensively, very smart, selective at the plate, wearing the pitch count out of the pitchers. He's seen a lot of pitches. I would bet he's seen more pitches in this 3-game series than anybody else on either team. He is playing his game.
How about just in the first inning alone, the way he was taxing pitches?
Yep. And every first at bat in each 3 games.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has seen 25 pitches in the first inning of the first 3 games of this series.
Yeah.
And a reminder to our fans, the Boston Red Sox come in tomorrow. 4-game series. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Great pitching matchups. We hope everybody comes dressed in blue, cheering for the Royals. And there is a base hit to right field. Dozier has to hold up, so he will not be able to score. But Carroll, he comes through with just a little chop base hit.
That's what he does. Short to the ball, second hit of the night.
Dozier at third, Carroll at first. Morneau 2 for 3 tonight. Those first 2 hits off lefty Danny Duffy. Ground ball first. Hosmer goes for one. Escobar got him.
That was huge. Run don't count. Escobar flat-footed threw a bullet across the diamond. That's exciting. Hosmer took his time. First man sure, get the out. Second man quick. Tejada for the help.
Singled on the infield his first time up, doubled his third time up. He had his 41st multi-hit game of the year. That is in the top 5 in the American League for multi-hit games. But you talk about sweet stroke since June 19th. Eric Hosmer has the most hits, 60. Victor Martinez of the Tigers with 59. Beltre, Ramirez, and the rest. But here is Eric, and he has started innings well already with that double in the 5th, coming around to score on the single by Kane. Facing the lefty Thielbar. So 2 for 3 in this one, and Hosmer 2 clicks shy of 300.
You know, there's not a lefty that scares him. He's raking lefties.
And looks what he does in the late innings.
My. 328 against Southpaws.
Taken all the way, 3-1. Royals have had their leadoff man on 5 times in this game.
One more hit gets him over that 300 mark.
High drive, right field, backing up.
Get out of here.
Chris Colabello at the wall makes the catch. 1 out.
Yeah, didn't quite get it on the barrel. It was off the end of the bat, you know, and there are no cheap home runs here. Now that ball, that's out in a lot of different ballparks across the league.
Camden Yards?
Yeah,
Yep.
Depends on what part of the yard that was, but you know, you get one out here at the K, you got to barrel it. Look at his weight back, head, very little movement at all. Nice balance right there. Good balance. Look at that leg out there. It's amazing his stride. From from 1 foot to the other. He's long-legged and he really leverages.
Billy Butler goes gap right center field. A 1-out double for Billy, and that gives him 21 doubles this year. Our AT&T trivia question: among players with 3,000 hits, who has the most strikeouts?
Eddie Murray, Cal Ripken, Ricky Henderson, Craig Biggio.
We're just going with one, and it is
Biggio.
Craig Biggio.
All right, look.
You know, I was going against that only because there were several years where he walked a lot. I thought it might be Winfield.
You know, it's really got to be somebody that doesn't have a real big career batting average. And Biggio's career batting average was 281.
Okay, good argument. You win again.
No, because I just threw out a bunch of names, as I'm guessing. Al wins every night with a great question. And our fans participate. Love the participation of the Royals fans and all fans across baseball that watch our broadcast, especially with our sprint questions and all that stuff. We appreciate you guys.
Gordon to left center field. That could be trouble. Yes, it will. Butler will score. 5-2 Royals. And that is Alex Gordon's 200th career double.
You could tell off the bat he wasn't catching that one. The ball was tailing away from Clete Thomas, the center fielder. So back-to-back doubles. Passing that baton. Here we go. 3-run lead. Stayed inside this. Ball's right down the middle. Alex, there's nothing wrong with his swing. He may not be getting any hits and his average might be coming down, but he's got the perfect mentality for that. He's like, you know what? Look, I know baseball. Sometimes the hits fall, sometimes they don't. But we're winning, and that's all that matters.
The Royals winning tonight 5-2. Here in the bottom of the 7th inning, let's check out Gordo Nation's swing.
Great head position. 200 double.
Is brought to you by Thoroughbred Ford. For the best deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. And that young man, part of the Gordo Nation. This is our first Gordo Nation night. They gave away those great T-shirts. Here's Lorenzo Cain skying one to the right side. This is playable for Colabello. And Gordon back to second base. And fans, you can vote for the Royals Player of the Month, sponsored by Majestic and Rally House. Vote at Rally House stores and get a chance to go on field and meet the winning player. We've had some good, loud crowds on this homestand after the Royals came back from an 8-1 road trip. And we really encourage you to go buy some blue. Come to the ballpark this weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Very good team. The Boston Red Sox coming to town. They will intentionally walk Mike Moustakas.
This is a good move here. Can't let Moose take a free hack.
Josh Renicky, of course, the new pitcher.
And Josh Renicky, 92, maybe 93 mile-an-hour fastball. Sinks it, cuts it, slider, curve to change. Tejada, you know what? He's on deck saying, gosh, you really want to do that? I want to make you pay.
Left-handers hitting Renicky at a 235 clip. Right-handers 216. But the power is different. 4 home runs by left-handers up, Josh. Only 1 by a righty. Well, the Royals have always talked about winning series. Ned Yost, that's almost been his theme. Win series. Royals won game 1. They lost game 2. They must win tonight to win their 6th straight series. The Royals, the only team since the All-Star break to win all of their series. And a win tonight would give the Royals their 6th consecutive series victory, which would be the longest streak of sets won since the '91 squad won 9 straight series from July 17th through August 14th. A 21-7 stretch that saw Jeff Montgomery record 9 saves.
Could happen very easily the way they're playing.
Man, that guy could deal.
He certainly could.
Short, Florimon. But Gordo Nation, you got another, and Kansas City now goes in front of Minnesota 5-2. 8th inning we go. Three, Gordon 2 for 4 with a home run and a big double. His 200th in his excellent career. Escobar 2 for 3. 3rd straight 2-hit game for Esky. And Danny Duffy has returned to the major leagues. 7 strikeouts in 3 2/3 through a lot of pitches, but we knew it would be an emotional night for number 41.
Yeah, and overall, you love the guy's stuff. That was a fantastic job. Now, He didn't really have his command like he wanted to, but I'm talking about his stuff. His stuff was fantastic as Elliott Johnson's now in defensively for Tejada. However, you start a game and your team wins it after you leave, that's all that matters.
So here is Kelvin Herrera, 47 strikeouts against 17 walks. His biggest challenge has been controlling that high-octane fastball. When he centers it up, it has been hit a long, long way as Herrera has given up 9 home runs in only 39 innings. And here's a power hitter in Colabello to face him first.
Jay Herrera's got that power fastball. He'll try to set that up or use that to set up his changeup. I've seen a lot of curveballs out of him lately.
I mean, he throws easy gas.
Right.
99, and he just kind of looks like he's playing catch right there.
Free and easy. Natural arm strength. Says it's hereditary. Said his grandpa could throw hard. His dad threw hard. And he throws hard.
He has fallen behind Colabello. 2 balls and no strikes. I was telling you about Baseball America's recent issue of best tools, and they rated Herrera's fastball 3rd best behind Verlander and Scherzer.
Really? What about Kimbrel?
They've rated Herrera's better.
Oh, that's pretty good.
But he must locate it.
That's right. And doesn't matter how hard you can throw, those balls can be hit.
That's a strike. 3-1.
Yep.
Colabello taking all the way.
But he makes this bullpen even better. And when they've sent him out for 2 times this year, they've sent him out a couple different stints. You could tell that pen wasn't as strong without Herrera. They needed him.
I'll tell you who also has upgraded the bullpen is Lewis Coleman.
Oh, no question.
Lewis Coleman came on. He was the first pitcher to relieve Danny Duffy, and we knew Danny would not go past 5 innings. Coleman comes in after Danny was in trouble and struck out Jamie Carroll, and then worked through the 5th inning, got a key ground out for a double play from Herman. So Duffy struck out 7 3 2/3. Here's Herman batting for the first time, and Herrera finding a difficult time with that strike zone.
Well, he better get back in there pretty quick. He doesn't want to get a little nervous. Ned's not nervous anymore. He's pretty confident because his team's confident.
Well, he still has Hochevar and Mendoza available. I ruled out Greg Holland only because he'll be going the 9th. Good off-speed pitch. It's 1-2.
Yep. Second best pitch is this one, the changeup.
Who do you think Baseball America rated the best right-handed changeup?
Herrera. How about James Shields?
James Shields.
Love to see it in these national publications. Kansas City Royals are no secret any longer.
Hosmer and Perez, best defensive players at their positions. Greg Holland was rated 3rd best reliever. And how about Herrera? There's a beautiful pitch. He threw another changeup with late run on it that caught the inside corner for strike 3.
Ooh, man, that's a perfect spot.
Trevor Plouffe, good fastball hitter. Duffy tied him up with a lot of curveballs, and let's see if Herrera throws one of those. No, he'll start him off with the heat at 97. Plouffe, a very streaky hitter. He had a stretch in June where he hit home runs in 4 straight games, and then he might go 2 weeks without an extra base hit. 2 balls and no strikes.
Pretty good hitter, working on his defense.
Three and 0. Herrera trying to keep it down to Plouffe, but all three have been well below the strike zone. And that one taken all the way by Plouffe. It's 3-1.
Trevor Plouffe, he's 1 for 2 with a double off of Herrera.
And that was last week at Target Field. It'll roll foul. Luke Hochaber has started to throw for the Royals down in their pen as Herrera falling behind a lot of these Twins in this 8th inning. Walked him. So 2 walks in the 8th inning. Hochaber's not ready yet. Dave Island may go out for a visit just to allow Hochaber to continue to throw, because Herrera very wild, walking Colabello, striking out Herman looking, but really with very little command of his best pitch, his fastball.
It's been 4 days since he's pitched, so maybe he's having some command issues because of that. However, it doesn't really matter when you're this time of the season. When you get put in that game, they're expecting results, and that's what Dave's telling them, saying, hey, look, come on, we got 1 out here. Let the defense go to work.
All of a sudden, the tying run is coming to the plate, and he has good power. Young hitter and 22-year-old Oswaldo Arcia. Arcia and Herrera know each other. Came out of Venezuela, competed against each other in youth leagues. 7 home runs, 27 driven in.
It's the first time he's ever faced Herrera. Herrera's given up a .231 average to lefties. 4 homers.
He was sent down twice to get his confidence back. Changeup is down as well, and it's 2-0. Denny Matthews always goes leadoff walks, late innings, close game, never good. 2-1.
Nope, I'd agree with him. But if there is anybody that has the ability to strike out the side, it's this guy here, Herrera. Coach is good and ready to go out there if Ned needs him.
He may have gone after ball 3. But Herrera fights his way back in the count at 2-2. We haven't seen him throw that curve yet. I don't think he's going to throw it to a left-hander.
No.
But that was a pitch that they wanted him to work more on when he was at AAA Omaha.
Yeah, don't you dare in this situation here.
Changeup. Well, he is either 1 pitch away from being lifted from this game, or 1 pitch away from moving on. How about that? 2 pitches in this at bat that Arcia swung at were likely balls.
Okay, that's a great job by Hayes to call that pitch like that. Fastball's looking for the fastball situation. Throws him the changeup. That's perfect.
on a 3-2 count.
That's right. He thought Arcia was going to swing at that fastball, thinking it was coming. No, oh.
Now Clete Thomas. Clete with 4 home runs this year. In this game, he is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. One against Danny Duffy, the other against Tim Collins. Duffy only went 3 2/3, but the rest of the pen before Herrera rock solid with Coleman, Collins,
Tell you,
Crow.
love how Brett Hayes is doing tonight catching in his Royals debut. He's doing a great job.
Wow, that will move the runners. And you could see how Hayes had set the very low target, Rex, so he missed the mark by 6 feet.
Sure did. I can't believe Hayes didn't catch this one.
I don't think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar could catch that one.
I just got to say how great a job he's been doing it, and he has been.
He's got to take it from near the dirt to way over his head.
He almost had to jump.
At 99 miles an hour.
Yeah, it didn't leave you much time. I mean, had he gloved it, it might have pulled his arm out of socket.
Thomas to third. Moustakas should end it. He does. So Herrera walks a fine line, but he did not fall off that bench. And the Royals still lead 5-2 going to the bottom of the 8th at the K.
On base right now in the bottom of the 12th. New York trying to hold on to a 4-3 lead. Royals wouldn't mind a little help there from the White Sox. Baltimore all over San Diego as Chris Davis with a big, huge late home run in that one, 3-run shot. Seattle 9-7 over Toronto. Oakland loses by 1 run to Cincinnati. They're now just a half a game ahead of Texas in the American League West. Houston 5-4, top of the 7th in that one. And hey, there is a young Royals fan, and I think she's saying pennant race, playoff race. Yeah, this is the way it goes, right? It's the way it always is.
And Joel, I think this is going to be the place to be this weekend. Boston's in town. They're in first place in the American League East. The Royals have been challenging. If they win this game, they'll be 15-4 since the All-Star break and 13 wins in their last 15. Playing with a lot of confidence. There is Brett Hayes. Hayes 2 for 3. We should give him some votes for player of the game.
Yeah, he's done an outstanding job with the bat too. But most importantly, putting those fingers down, trying to help Duffy get, guide him through his start.
And the bullpen.
Like
you said, Hut, a 3-2 changeup that he called for Herrera. That was a huge pitch to strike out Arcia. Duffy went 3 2/3 in his first start since Mother's Day 2012.
He knows he may not get many more starts. Hayes, so he's up there hacking.
I wonder what Jeremy's telling him. Because Jeremy's pretty cool cucumber on the field. Well, Hayes hit it a long way, but foul. And of course, Jeremy will be a big part of our social media night tomorrow with Joe Goldberg. Danny was the host last year. Tomorrow it will be Guthrie. I tell you, he is a really interesting guy. When you talk about his past, where he grew up in Oregon, then going to BYU, then off to Spain on a Mormon mission. And he said it was incredible over there, and he learned the language. Came back, transferred to Stanford, and became an All-American after not playing baseball in 2 years. Well, Hayes will pop up to open the bottom of the 8th inning. Jared Burton getting some work in. He's been a terrific setup guy for the Twins this year. Escobar, he's another candidate for our forward player of the game.
Yeah, 2 nice base hits, a couple of ribbies attached, going the other way. That's what they want him to do. And that second hack there, and he was way off balance, but he was able to get the hit.
He was also part of 2 double plays, including that one 3-6-1 that got Aaron Crow out of trouble in the 7th inning.
Burton's got a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, hard slider, changeup.
2/3. Carroll has it. Throws out Escobar, and very quickly 2 outs in the 8th inning. When the Twins bat in the top of the 9th inning, they will have hitters 9, 1, and 2. That means Florimon, Dozier, and Carroll. Ron Gardenhire coming into tonight's game, winning 4 of his last 5 after being swept by the Royals at Target Field last week. He said yesterday, man, you make a mistake against this ball club, they'll kill you. He said that is a hot baseball team after the Royals pounded them 13-0. Ron said Kansas City's doing a lot of things well, and if you make a mistake, they'll kill you.
I love to hear that. Not just me. I mean, the Royals got to love hearing that. Gives them a little bit of extra swagger, a little more confidence.
Greg Holland warming up in the Royals pen. And all 3 of the bottom of the order hitters, Tejada, Hayes, and Escobar, each had 2 hits. So David Lowe, the batter, down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Even though the Royals have won 13 of 15. They're not even the hottest team in their own division. Detroit has won 10 in a row. They're currently tied at 4 in the 12th with Cleveland. There's Lowe to the second baseman Dozier. We'll head to the 9th. We'll see Greg Holland when we come back. Royals in search of win number 58 this year.
Time to get her done, Greg.
2013 All-Star needs one save to become the fourth different Kansas City pitcher with 30 or more saves in a season. Jeff Montgomery, our friend and co-worker, and Dan Quisenberry accomplished the feat 5 times. Joaquin Soria reached 30 or more on 3 occasions. He is facing Pedro Florimon, Brian Dozier, and Jamie Carroll.
Strike one at 95. Slider and a split finger.
Strike 2. Joe Mauer, Doug Bernier are on that Minnesota bench. Got him.
Yep, I don't see either one of them guys coming in to pinch hit unless they get a couple of guys on to it. Holland not wasting any time on Florimon. 3 pitches. Now he's back to the top of the order with Dozier, who is 0 for 4 lifetime off of Holland.
But 3 for 4 in tonight's game and a home run shy of the cycle. I'm just giving facts.
Just like I predicted, though, that when he comes in next, he's going to be facing Holland most likely.
You were right, sir.
Well, let's see if he can miss his bat.
Strike 1. He comes out throwing darts. Recorded his 29th save of the year and 22nd consecutive in Saturday's 4-3 12-inning win over the Mets. He is throwing hard cheese inside corner and is ahead 0-2.
Last cycle by a Minnesota Twin was Rod Carew. Oh, excuse me. First one was Rod Carew.
Lorenzo Cain will take care of Brian Dozier. The crowd on their feet. Royals trying to take their 6th straight series. It would be the Royals' 34th comeback of the year. They were down 1-0, down 2-1. Joe Mauer up. Strike 1.
Joe Mauer is 3 for 5 off of Holland with a couple of strikeouts.
.98 misses inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Holland fresh. He pitched on Sunday at 9th, but only threw 10 pitches, and then had Monday and Tuesday off. He has one of the best sliders in the game. That was it, or as Ryan Lefebvre calls it, a splider.
Yeah, because we don't really can't tell if that's a split finger or a slider. Hard to tell, and even Greg says that. Says, I know you can't tell between them, just call it a splider.
He gets the strike across, so Minnesota down to their final strike. Joe Mauer pinch hitting for Jamie Carroll. Career .323 average.
This is the second time he's had a pinch hit opportunity this year. He's over 1. He struck out Mauer before early in the season with the bases full of Twins. in pouring rain. He can do it again here.
Duffy got the start. Coleman, Collins, Crow, Herrera, and Holland have thrown up nothing but zeros since. Base hit to left field.
First pinch hit of the year. Short to the ball.
Holland did not want to face Morneau representing the tying run. 25 of his 215 career home runs have come against the Royals. He is 2 for 4 in this one. Does have a home run in this series. They need to get one more man on to bring the tying run to the plate. Mauer goes. They give him second base. Indifference. Holland struck out Florimon. Got Dozier on a fly out to center field. A little high. 2-1. They only have one more man on the bench, and that is Doug Bernier. Colabello and the on-deck circle will hit for himself if they get that far. 3-1.
Team Morneau knows what's coming now. You're going to sit on something. Sit right on that fastball.
A strike is called, and Morneau is already going to his leg to take off that hitting guard.
Right there in the upper part of the strike zone. Not so fast.
He went. And the Royals get their 58th win as Greg Holland saves his 30th and 23rd in a row. You can crown this just another Royal victory.
Great job by everybody, but it's in this game it was the pin to win. Gordon, great shot and hit his 11th home run. Fantastic piece of hitting. Hit his 200th double. Escobar, the bottom of the order, they really chipped in. Nice offensive contributions from the guys down at the bottom.
And Ned Yost knew he would need his bullpen, and man, were they rock solid in this one. Starting with Lewis Coleman, they are our 4 players of the game.
Haven't given up a run yet this year. He is in fuego. He is on fire. And Collins, wow, how about that? 3 strikeouts, man. He's perfect. Great hook tonight. And Aaron Crow, he finished the job too with his double play here that was big. The run would have scored had they not turned it. Sweet. And then Herrera, he had his difficulties. He walked a couple of batters, but he got out of it and got the ball to Holland. That is the goal of this young Kansas City Royals offense and defense and starters. Get it to that guy. He's nails.
5 1/3 shutout innings by the bullpen. And